guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Hannah. If you're new here, hi. Hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up for me. It will really help me out and I appreciate it very much. As you saw from today's title, today's video is how to read more as a slow reader. Now, I consider myself to be a slow reader just because a lot of people on my bookstagram and on booktube read a lot faster than me, and people are reading like multiple books a day. And I can't do that. I can only read one book at a time. And like, I wish I could read more than one book at a time, but my mind doesn't focus like that. So I came up with some realistic goals to help you read more if you also are a slow reader. So my first tip is to turn on the do not disturb setting on your phone, which is the little moon button. I feel like this helps me so much because anyway, I tried to go on social media a lot less. Like, I managed to get my screen time on my phone down from I got it down from like 7 hours to only 4 this week, and the only reason it was 4 hours is because I watch YouTube on my phone, but I'm not like aimlessly scrolling for like 4 hours. That's ridiculous. So yeah, turn on the do not disturb setting on your phone. Because you'll not be distracted by notifications and anything like that, and it helps me focus my mind onto what I'm reading, and gets me really into the setting of reading the story. My second tip is to set yourself a short but realistic goal for the day. Like, I always find myself comparing myself to people that are reading like 2 books a day on Bookstagram, or reading about 12 books a month, and I know realistically I can't do that. I wish I could, but I can't. I'm a slow reader, and I really absorb what I'm reading, and I'm more of a picture what I'm reading. And I read a lot of tips saying how to read more is to stop the internal monologue, but I can't read like that, and that's not how I was taught to read, so I'm not going to try and not imagine what I'm reading as in like a little reel in my head. I read a book and I see it, I visually see the book in my head. I can't just all of a sudden stop doing that, so that's not a realistic tip for me to read more. Like, I can't do that. Set yourself like a short goal. Like, my goal yesterday was to read 3 chapters of Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and I managed to do that, and I'm now halfway through Rebecca. If you say read 3 chapters a day, set yourself like a realistic timer, because obviously like you have other things to do with your day. You also might be working from home, you might have a job what you could do from home, but you want to set your time realistically, as in so that you can read and enjoy your reading time and not feel forced to do it, or as if you're forcing yourself to read. Because I feel like when I'm forcing myself to read, A, I'm not enjoying the story as much, and B, I feel like I've put too much pressure on myself to read so many books, or read as much, or catch up with people on Bookstagram that have different reading minds than me. And the 4th tip would be to use a guide or a bookmark to place where you're reading. So like, use a pen and follow the text as you're reading. And I think a lot of people do this if they're studying anyway, like read I don't like skim reading because it doesn't go in. Like, if I was studying, I'd skim read stuff, but like if I'm really wanting to enjoy the story and absorb the story, I find myself wanting to take more time reading it, which is why I'm reading Rebecca quite slowly, because it's becoming my favourite book that I've ever read, and I'll do a whole review on Rebecca itself. But I've really, really enjoyed taking my time to read it and not pressuring myself, being like, okay, today you must finish reading this book, because if you don't, you'll be behind. Like, reading isn't a race, and that's what I feel like a lot of people that are on Bookstagram feel like reading is a race, and it's not. It's a hobby. We're all just enjoying reading and enjoying our lockdown hobbies, as it were. And my last tip would be realistic with how much you're able to read in a day. Don't overwork yourself. Don't set yourself a crazy to be read pile. I would never give myself more than like 6 books to read a month, because I know I couldn't do that. I might be able to now if lockdown gets extended again. Hopefully it doesn't, but like if it does, I could maybe up my TBR from about 6 books to about 8, but I wouldn't go above, like I wouldn't go into double digits, because I know physically that's impossible for me to read. And my last tip, I would say use an audiobook, but I've still never listened to an audiobook. I've listened to like parts of an audiobook, because I listened to parts of 1984 by George Orwell through an audiobook, just because I had not a clue what was happening with 1984. But yeah, I think these are more realistic tips to read as a slow reader. And I think obviously reading is a hobby, it's fun, we're enjoying new authors, we're enjoying what we're reading, we're enjoying reviewing books, we're enjoying seeing books that we love become movies, etc. And I don't feel like we shouldn't put too much pressure on ourselves to read too much into how many likes we have on Instagram, how many views we have on our booktube. Like, it's a hobby for me, and it's just keeping me a bit more sane than this lockdown. What was I trying to say? This lockdown would be a lot more less fun if I didn't enjoy reading. Like, I'd be very sanely bored. Like, I'd be so bored if I did not read. So yeah, I feel like these are realistic tips that you can set yourself. And my last tip would be is like, don't compensate your reading time for other things. Like, you still want to spend time with your family, like watching a movie, etc. Like me and my boyfriend spent like an hour playing like the new Mario game on the Nintendo last night, and then I read a chapter before I went to bed. So like, don't let your reading time compensate for time with other people, because I feel like a lot of people can become quite overwhelmed by reading, and it's just all they want to do, like every single hour of the day. And I mean, obviously if you're doing a 24-hour reading challenge, then fair enough, read every hour for the day, but there's a lot of other things that you can be doing. Like, I love reading, I love filming videos, and I'm really loving this little hobby of mine. So I hope you're enjoying my videos, and let me know if any of these tips were realistically helpful for you. And let me know if you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe, and I shall see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.